SCV shine.
Yeah, he used to be a sniper. Well, the map is loaded. It is Neo Planet S, and we're going to jump into it right now, introducing our players. Up here to the top right in the blue for the team LGIM, he is...
LGIM MVP.
Also called MVP Jürgen, since he won WCS Europe. He's up against Terran player to the bottom left of the map. We have in red for Team Axiom. It is
Axiom Young from America.
He's from America, but not really.
Yeah. He won in America, but he's originally from Korea, so don't get fooled here. But really important to note is that he won every single TVT that he had to play in a WCS America in the Premier League. He took down Alive with the 2-1, and he was also successful against Pold. And we are starting things with a bang here. MVP knows fully well that his opponent is a master in TVT, and he doesn't want to go into a long game. He is going straight into the proxy barracks.
Yeah, he's doing an 8-8 Reaper build here. The barracks goes down on 8, so does the refinery.
That's a build that has been used against Zerg for a long time, but it's also so strong against Terran, especially when your opponent starts with an early command center.
Right.
Such a Reaper build can take him down like in a flash.
And even if he goes for a normal opening, this is still really hard to defend. You have to micro your first marine perfectly, and also your SCVs. You need to make sure you pull your SCVs back, and he's going to have to repair a little bit too.
Yeah, exactly, since we don't have any gas at this point for Young, he's just now taking the refinery. It's also going to be a bit of an issue because he can't go into a factory tech with Hellions. That's something that you see occasionally when there is like more of a normal Reaper build opening.
Right.
But this is like a proxy Reaper. This is like the fastest Reaper that you can get out into the map. And even though Ryung is scouting right now, the first Reaper will be done by the time that he arrives at the top right.
And by the time the Reaper gets there, the Marine's not going to be ready. MVP could try to bunker the natural so he can have somewhere to run back to, but I don't think he's going to do that. Ryung will find out what's going on very soon here as he is sending his SCV, and he's going to know right away, oh, wait a minute, this is a proxy, I need to prepare. He might start a bunker immediately. That would be the smartest choice. He needs to get that bunker up ASAP. That's the best way for him to defend. He starts his own defensive Reaper, actually.
He sees that there's no wall, he sees the gas, here comes the SCV trying to take away a few of the hit points of the Marine, and now it's time for the Reaper to shine. Moving in, the Marine caught a little bit out on the map.
Yeah, he actually just ignores the Marine on the low ground and goes right for the SCV line here. Needs to do a ton of economic damage.
And more Reapers are now being built, and Ryung decides to fight fire with fire. He's building his own Reapers as we speak, but MVP already in the mineral line doing even more damage to his opponent.
Yeah, he's going to have 2 versus 1 Reapers. He falls back just so he can rely on that. Doesn't want to lose his first Reaper, and now it's going to just be a case of micro. How well can Ryung use his SCVs here?
And let's not forget that MVP will always have the superior Reaper count, so as long as he micros well, he should be able to do a lot of damage here. Jumping into his opponent's main base. Once again, MVP is certainly trying to take this game right now, sniping another SCV, trying to...
Making him lose mining time as well.
Killing another SCV here, taking a few hits from the Reaper of his opponent. Trying to pick off another one, but now he doesn't have the high ground vision anymore. The Reaper jumps down. Ryung is trying to hunt down MVP's
He's
units.
counter bunkering right now in the main base of MVP. He's going to get caught, though. It was a great idea. Does not work out for him, unfortunately.
The Marine backed off into a corner and goes down, but the bunker might actually complete, and then he could sneak a Reaper to the top right. Unfortunately, the Reaper alone won't be able to do a lot here. Oh!
Nice micro there. Picks off one of his opponent's Reapers. Now he's going to have a 2 Reaper lead.
Really well done here. I mean, did you see that? Micro was crazy.
It was insane. He pulled it back at the very last second after targeting his opponent's Reaper. And Ryung now is just in a position where recovering from this seems to be impossible.
It's just a really huge blow for him. He's behind in Reapers. He has the same harvester supply than his opponent. And this is really important since Ryung originally had more SCVs than MVP because MVP went for this really early proxy barracks. So MVP is now in the same economy, jumping into the base once again, trying to retreat with the Reapers. This time, one of them is being picked off. But this is so much mining time that Ryung loses by keeping those SCVs at the corner.
Yeah. Currently, MVP is still working on that bunker just to make sure nobody sneaks by and gets a Reaper into the main base. That would be absolutely devastating. And also, Ryung starts his own command center here.
He's a little bit faster with the CC here, but MVP has apparently no plans of going straight into an expansion. No, he's going into the starport here. And with the starport alone, he can do a lot. He could even go into Banshees if he decides to do so.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to see from him. MVP is going for a sneaky jump in here. He's going to be able to deny his command center at the very least and damage it. He will want to get away from that Hellion.
Yeah, he doesn't want to fight those just yet. But he has his own Hellion right now, and now he can do a lot. He takes down Reaper of his opponent, tries to back off once again. Keep in mind that the starport is now halfway done. And since Ryung is committing completely to Reapers and Hellions, a Banshee would go a long way in this game.
Yeah. Currently, MVP starts a Widow Mine, and this is something that has been scouted. Well, he doesn't actually know it's a Widow Mine or a Hellion just yet, but he knows the factory is active.
Yeah, and he saw the starport, so he's not going into a Banshee here. That would be a little bit too transparent right now that it has been scouted. Ryung had another SCV at the top right. MVP, sneaky as he is, trying to lift his own barracks onto the location where we usually see the natural, so that it's impossible for Ryung to get access to that base too soon.
Yep. And currently, of course, the same thing going on over here with an eBay block. This costs, of course, Ryung a lot more money since he actually had to produce that.
Yeah, and also he didn't get too many hit points there. He has the cancel already, and now MVP, as soon as he has the minerals, he can start with his own command center.
Well, he's got it on the high ground, but he can move it down.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He's got the Widow Mine coming in with one Hellion. This probably not going to do a ton of damage, but he can try.
You know, I really love this game. I mean, this is such a cool start into the series. This is exactly what you want here. I love that we are starting with a game where a player takes a risk, where MVP looks at his opponent and is like, there's no way I want to go into the long game against you. Not in game number 1. I'm trying to surprise you here, trying to use that element of surprise to get an early lead in the best of 3.
And he doesn't notice the medevac. He doesn't notice the medevac color. He's going to drop this right in here. One Widow Mine in the main. No scans available. Widow Mine gets the
no! Oh, that could have even been worse, that it was only 1 kill so far. You know, he could have targeted that. There was only 2 units he had to control at this time. I'm a bit disappointed that he didn't target that into the bulk of the SCVs.
Yeah, and the scan, of course, is available as soon as that orbital finished, the second orbital. Second Widow Mine here, boom, takes out a Hellion, almost gets a second one, and the barracks is actually still down there.
Yeah, barracks still down at the bottom, and he's just trying to make that happen somehow with the Reapers that he has and the additional Hellions. At the top right, though, we have the armory coming up for MVP. He wants to go into Hellbats.
Yeah, he's going into mech in general, as is evident by the fact that he leaves his barracks over there. But this is something that Ryung is doing as well. And, you know, I'm really curious to see how the rest of this game is going to play out. He defiantly leaves his barracks over there, floats into the main base, is going to get a scout. And just both of them go into Hellbats a little bit faster for MVP.
It's so funny to see that barracks just floating into the main base. Finally, we have some anti-air here, but up to this point, there wasn't even the Marine who could tickle the barracks. So now we have the Hellbats for MVP. He's also getting his own Viking now, and he will try to drop his opponent as soon as he can, whereas Ryung is just now walking across the map, trying to finally apply some pressure.
Yeah, it's finally the first time he's really going to be able to do something aggressive besides trying to bunker his opponent. But with the Widow Mine here at the front, the bunker as well, and with no real way to break into the main base, I don't see it's working. He has the medevac, but he's going to walk right into defense here. He goes for it, and he jumps in with the Reapers as well. The medevac is taken out.
And MVP immediately boosts back with his own medevac, dropping those Hellbats, trying to get control of all those Hellions that are walking into his mineral line now. The supply depots have been lifted immediately, and the Hellbats here are trying to take down the rest of the units, but so far MVP with a really good defense against his opponent's aggression.
Exactly. You know, he just had the defensive Hellbats out, he killed the medevac, and that made this defense all the easier, and even the Reapers there and clean up the last of the Hellions.
Yeah.
And
MVP taking charge.
Yeah, he definitely gets the advantage here.
Yeah, currently we have him with a little bit of a supply lead, but also with a better bank than his opponent, and he still has those Hellbat drops that he can use to pressure Ryung even further. We have now 3 Vikings against 2 in favor of Ryung, so MVP can't really go down with those Vikings on his own and trying to take down the anti-air. But with the double drop now heading towards the natural and the main base, Ryung has to be really careful, and he has to react just in time to pull those SCVs off the mineral line once the Hellbats are dropped.
He doesn't have any Widow Mines out at all. That's something that MVP made, but Ryung did not. So he doesn't have any static defense, any bunkers. He's going to be in trouble here. The one thing he does have is these Vikings, but he only has 1 set of them, and the Hellbats may still drop out here. Oh, no, he does not drop them in time.
But we have those in the main base, and here come those 2 Hellbats being dropped immediately. The Hellions trying to do the best they can. They are faster than the Hellbats, so they can use that advantage to kite them. And with all the SCVs being pulled, not too many losses here for Ryung, and he is going for aggression on his own.
Yep, notice MVP, though, does have a bunker, reacts very quickly here, losing very little. And Ryung, just with all these Vikings out, is not going to have too big of a problem. Both players go into the 3rd command center, but MVP has his up landed first.
Yeah, has the command center landed already at the 3rd base and can now start mining, dropping a couple of mules. We still have this advantage in the air units and Vikings for Ryung, so he can really dominate this guys for now. But Ryung is just getting more and more units out into the game, while now MVP makes the switch into mech completely, gets additional factories out there, 3 at a time.
Yeah, 3 at a time, 4 at a time even, you know, just trying to put us to shame here. And that Widow Mine is going to continue to be annoying. I really love how MVP uses these Widow Mines quite well. He forces another scan to be baited here.
Yeah, takes down one of the Hellions, baits out another scan, and now Ryung also floating over his command center trying to take the space. If you look at the overall supply, they're really staying fairly even here. So both players playing a great game, especially considering how we started. We started with 8 barracks and gas into Reapers for MVP, and Ryung defending with the same unit. Both of them are just now trying to get those upgrades out with the armory, going into the plating upgrades here for MVP, who goes into the base once again, drops both of those Hellions.
And Ryung just does not pull his SCVs.
And this time he's going to lose a lot of them.
Yeah, he's not reacting here at all. Oh my god.
Could have been even worse, but he took down 19 harvesters in total. Not, of course, with this drop alone, but over the course of the game, he did a lot of damage to the economy of his opponent.
He finds himself in a 10 harvester deficit, and that drop is cleaned up. MVP just having better drop defense, having the stack defense, the Widow Mines, the turrets.
Yeah, and also the Vikings just waiting for the medevac to appear. MVP doing a great job in this first game. He's now at 117 supply, and he has the same amount of Hellbats as his opponent, but he's going into upgrade after upgrade. I have to give it to Ryung though. Him already halfway done with a +2 attack upgrade, that's really going to give him a little bit of an edge, and I love that he's going into the Banshee here.
Yeah. I mean, that's the type of thing that you can do when you know your opponent's anti-air is relatively limited. It can also be great as a defensive unit for some of these drops, because obviously the Hellbat's not going to just shoot up.
Yeah, one of the issues really for Ryung is going to be to catch up with MVP in economy. That's what he's currently trying to do, trying to get a hold on things here. But MVP looking fairly strong, and he wants to get in again. But first of all, he has to defend against the drop. The few Hellbats that just came out of the factory are immediately moving back.
The third base, though, is the problem. That's where he doesn't have any defense set up. He's sending his Vikings over there right away.
And now he's trying to corner that one medevac, and he's getting it. Gets the next shot off, no drop whatsoever, and Ryung's aggression is just... It has to completely evaporate. He didn't do anything in this game with his drops.
Yeah, he's spawned further and further behind right now. Talking about unit counts, we have 21 Hellbats to 14 right now. MVP committing 7 more Hellbats. Ryung, on the other hand, during that production time, was actually making siege tanks, so he has a siege tank lead at 6-2.
Yeah, it's just those production cycles that MVP is now able to hit, and it gives him a huge advantage in supply too. He's heading into the +2 attack upgrade, trying to add this to his upgrades too. But now with this army on the map, he can actually move out and try to be aggressive again. We have at the bottom right of the map, Ryung already scouting. Is he trying to take a 4th base?
No, it's just a barracks going to
just
scout.
Barracks, okay.
But you know, MVP catching up on that siege tank count very quickly with the economy he has, but he's very behind in upgrades. Ryung is going to have an upgrade lead on him for a really long time here.
Isn't he on 1-1 and Ryung only on 2?
I will check that.
I think Ryung...
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Ryung
got completely focused on the attack upgrades. And here we have another drop, this time at the 3rd base, and also one at the natural, but a little bit too late. He doesn't drop in time, and the rest of the mech army for Ryung takes out those few drops that we had at the 3rd.
He killed some SCVs, and he also lost, forced all of lost mine time from Ryung, even though he didn't get a ton done with that drop. He's still ahead here, and he's starting to move across the map aggressively, directly with, you know, just a Hellbat tank armor. We've seen Flash use this composition quite a bit. Notice he has a lot of Hellbats in those medevacs. He wants to actually drop them on top of his opponent's Hellbats.
And here we go, the both of them meeting in the middle of the map. And at this point, trying to get a hold on, a handle on all those medevacs.
That one Banshee.
Yeah, the Banshee is really chasing this away. And I talked about the dominance that we have for Ryung in the air battle, and that's exactly what he's using here. He has so many more Vikings than his opponent that it's no problem for him whatsoever to shield this Banshee from trouble.
Yeah, that one Banshee is actually just doing so much work to those Hellbats, and now a Thor has to be made by MVP.
Yeah, MVP is looking at it as like, okay, I have a really tough time keeping up with Viking production. I need something else, and the Thor is the only thing that he can really get. But the Banshee, up to the point where the Thor is in the game, can do so much here, taking off tanks, and this gives Ryung a bit of an edge, and Ryung is now moving in with his army. He gets the siege. MVP is completely neglecting the siege up. He's trying to fight this in tank mode.
Yeah, he fights this in tank mode. He goes for the boost in here. I don't know if this is going to work. He hopes for it to work. He jumps in right on top of those siege tanks. MVP dropping in supply like crazy.
He's dropping on top of his opponent's army, but he's dropping in supply way too fast. He's down to 110, and this is game.
GG. That one factor of the air dominance actually won Ryung this game. He had the better Vikings. He used that Banshee to control the fight.
Yeah, we have Ryung with a very good defense against the original strategy of MVP, going into the 8 Rex and Reaper, trying to go for aggression and maybe take down his opponent early on. Ryung did not gamble too much. He didn't go into a command center first, and therefore it was no problem for him to hold it once that he got it.